Hi Priya, good evening.
Hi Kiran, good evening.
Welcome to Shashwat BFSI Tech Gnan Mandir. So before we start our interview, I would like to introduce you. So you are from very famous city, Pollachi, which is near to Coimbatore in Tamil Nadu. So Pollachi is a coconut city. Like it's famous for trading in coconut, jaggery, like vegetables. Okay, then trade supply. At the same time, it's like a UNESCO heritage place because of its climate, pleasant climate throughout the year. And also like we know Coimbatore famous for like a yoga center, and it's famous for textile industry. And from educational perspective, like you have completed your BA computer engineering from BA college at engineering college and technology, Pollachi. So Priya, my first question, as you have 2.5 years experiences in software testing, you work in different MNCs, okay, so what do you mean by software project, Priya?
Okay, yeah. Thanks Kiran for providing me this opportunity first of all. Before explaining software project, I would like to brief the terms software and project. Software means set of program instructs hardware to act accordingly. For example, our operating system itself a software which is called a system software. Also, we have application softwares like our Notepad, MS Office, gaming applications, paints, everything are application softwares. Now I can explain project. Project involves a group of resources to complete the task in a stipulated time period. So Kiran, now can you relate the software project with these above terms?
Definitely, Priya. Yes. So, as you mentioned, okay, so software is a set of instructions we are providing, and in project we are utilizing the resources, we are preparing the planning. So, application of these instructions to prepare a software, and I can correlate with this textile industry. Okay, so as we are from that place, so in textile industry also like there are different projects. Though it will be like related to like cotton, polymer, polyester, etc. But there are also like a number of resources, planning, okay, different initiatives, innovative ideas are required. So similar way, using the instructions, we are developing the software for different domains like for banking, insurance, different for like financial services. So that is I can correlate for software project.
Yeah, and you have well explained it with a clear example also. So I can just provide definition of it. A software project is called as developing an application by a group of resources following set of procedure starting from requirement gathering till maintenance to achieve a quality product in specified time period. Okay. Kiran, do you have any idea why I have chosen this background?
Yes, so it's a very interesting background actually. So in left side is the software development life cycle, at right side software testing life cycle, and I am from like a software testing from last 17 years. So I know that SDLC and STLC both working hand in hand. Okay, so my next question, Priya, related to that only. Many students have this question. Okay, and in interview also this is a short question. So what is the difference between software development life cycle and software testing life cycle?
Yeah, I can explain. Actually, SDLC means software development life cycle, which comprises of all the phases starting from requirement gathering till maintenance. It includes testing as well. But STLC means it is specific to testing. It is we can call it as a standard also for testing. STLC we can term it as a software testing life cycle. Now I can start with SDLC. SDLC has 7 phases. In SDLC also we have 7 phases. I would like to explain all the 7 phases with an example. For example, a cake shop owner would like to have an application for his shop where customer can place their order without visiting the store, which will benefit both the customer and also the business to next step. So here I can correlate our 7 phases of SDLC. First phase is requirement gathering. In this step, in this phase, first our business analyst and project manager will discuss with cake shop management to know the requirements like what features needs to be implemented in that application, which type of payments can be accepted in their shops, whether customer have an option to order for an acquisition by mentioning the date and time in prayer. Those all the things, first it will be gathered in this phase. Next phase is analysis and planning. Here our business analyst will analyze the requirement gathered in first phase and will also schedule the timing required to complete the project and estimate the cost, resources required for this project. Everything will be taken in this phase. The third thing is designing. Designing means these requirements whichever gathered or cut down into user stories, which will help our testers and developers to know the requirements as an acceptance criteria. The very next phase is coding. Here the major part is for development team. They will start writing set of programs to make sure acceptance criteria are included to the requirement. And the next phase is testing. Here this is the important phase. We know, right? Already we have STLC, a separate thing for testing is there. Why we are giving this much important to testing is because we need to validate it in customer's perspective, whether all the requirements are met or this software can be useful for them, and how much it is effective, and our dev team has created it in an intention with acceptance criteria. Everything we need to validate in this phase. Yeah. Once the testing completes and QA has signed off, that we can move to the production. Like they will deploy the code in the production, which will be usable for the end users. And the very next phase is maintenance. Here business analyst and project manager collect the feedback from stakeholders about the application and also gathers any additional requirement or further changes needed in this application. As this is as it is in a cyclic manner, this follows an agile methodology. In this one, they will gather the requirements and they will make the changes and provides updates to the applications frequently. Yeah. The next one I can brief about STLC, which is software testing life cycle. Here also we have 7 phases. In this first phase is requirement analysis. Requirement analysis is like requirement analysis means after the designing phase of SDLC, QA will start analyzing the user stories to create test scenarios. The next phase is planning. Here the major role is for test manager, who will document the test strategy, which comprises of how long it will take to complete the testing and how many resources required and how much cost it will, how much it will cost. The very next phase is designing. Designing is same as like in SDLC. There they will cut down the requirements to user stories. Here our testers will simplify the user stories to test cases, which is a step-by-step procedure to validate that requirements. The very next phase is test environment setup. This is the most important thing. Like here QA needs to make sure that whether they have all the requirements in handy, which means all the test data in handy. For example, in this cake shop application, QA should be ready with what type of cake can be ordered, how many pieces can be ordered, which payment method they can use, if it is a credit card or debit card, means that details, and time and venue to deliver the cake. Those things they should keep in handy. And the most important thing here is they need to make sure where they are going to conduct this test. Either in website, I mean, if it is a web application, in which browser. If it is an mobile application, whether they are going to conduct it in iOS or Android, everything they need to make sure. The very next phase is execution. Here, already we have test cases and test data handy. We can just follow those steps, and by creating a test cycle, we can simply execute it. If any defect means which is conflicting with the requirement. If anything there, QA will log a defect, and it can be tracked by a separate life cycle called defect life cycle. once all these defects gets fixed and retested by the testers, we can proceed for test closure. Test closure is the next step. I mean, next phase in this STLC. Here, test report will be prepared. Test report means all the test activities whichever we have did in this phase, in previous phases, everything will be covered here, and it will act as a criteria to deploy the code to production. Okay. Yeah, that's it.
Great.
Kiran, can you please explain this SDLC and STLC in your experience?
Sure, Priya. So I would like to say that you have explained this SDLC and STLC in a detailed manner, and I think very few people can explain in such a nice manner. What I can say, but you asked me the question, so let me share my screen, and I will show my website where I have like explained the difference between SDLC and STLC. So if you see my website, okay, here I have drawn one diagram, okay. Like testingunlimited.webs.com, here you can say like in left side there is a verification, at right side there is a validation. So SDLC and STLC like working in hand, they are working in parallel. Like in requirement, there is a requirement review. For functional design specification, there is a special review test point. For design, there are design review. While coding, there is a unit testing. While building the software, there is a integration testing. When we build the system, there is a system testing. And when the software is released, that software or particular release is for use, at that time we are doing the acceptance testing. Under acceptance testing, we can perform alpha testing, beta testing, gamma testing. So what I can say in a short, that software development and testing cycle are working in parallel, and because of these only, like they are like we can easily correlate between SDLC and STLC. So Priya, now like my next question related to software testing. So previously, like web testing was like in a full form, and everybody was like curious about web testing. But now mobile testing, because you know that one user has like a 3 or 4 like a SIM cards. One user may have like a 2 handsets, 3 handsets. So what is the difference between this web testing and mobile testing, Priya?
Okay. Kiran, before that, I would like to ask you one question. Among these two types of testing, which one is favorite for you?
Yes. So as like I mentioned, okay. So now like a mobile testing is the need of ours. Okay, everyone has a handset, everyone has mobile, even the banking application or any transaction or any like a communication industry or anywhere. Okay, so everything is happening through mobile only. Okay, whether there's a newspaper, so people are preferring to communicate through mobile. So mobile testing is my definitely the preferable.
Yeah. Also, in mobile, the applications are handy.
Correct. Absolutely correct. Yes.
Yeah. Now I can explain the difference between web application testing and mobile application testing. In web application testing, as the name implies, it can be launched in browser and we can directly proceed with the testing. But for mobile application testing, we have a prerequisite, which means we need to make sure whether that application is compatible with the device in which we are going to test it, and operating system will support it or not. And also we need to make sure that it is compatible with the open source Android and our licensed iOS. So yeah, these many prerequisites are there for mobile application testing. And for web application testing, I cannot call it as prerequisite, but we will do one compatibility testing, that is browser compatibility, which means we will run this web application in different browsers like Mozilla, Chrome, Edge. In those browsers, we will run and make sure that in all the things, the UI looks same. The page is not affected. But yeah, in addition to the above prerequisites for mobile application testing, we have one more important thing, that we need to make sure it is not consuming much battery and storage space. Why? Because web application means there we can directly launch it in the browser, but for mobile application we need to install it, and after that only we can use it or test it. Yes. Mobile application testing is like a combination of validating across device and versions. Company can't offer all the real device to validate it. So here we rely on simulators where all types of devices and versions available. I can tell that so far I have used Browser Stack, which is an amazing application where we can find all types of all types of Android and iOS device. And one more interesting part with mobile testing is notification validation. Notification validation means which we will trigger from the back end based on the device on which we are going to perform the testing and email ID which we use to log into the application. Once the notifications are triggered from back end, it will hit the user's mobile. Here, we need to make sure that notification is looking as configured in the back end, and also it is navigating only to the right page where we have configured from back end. Because sometimes when we click on the notification, it will hang the entire mobile and it will crash the mobile like application itself. So we need to be very sure about the notification validation. Next thing is about if we get a new versions with new updates, I mean any fixes or changes means in website we can directly launch the URL and validate it. But in mobile, in specific to testing, we need to uninstall the existing application and install the this updated application. After that, we need to proceed with validation from the beginning. Okay. I would like to say one more final thing, that in web application, before deploying the software for the usage of end user, we will have a mock environment to test, which is named as pre-prod. In mobile, we used to call it as test flight build. Yeah.
Great, 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 great. Very nicely explained. And while like you was explaining, so I was also like trying to correlate the things. Very excellent. Okay, so nicely explained. So Priya, now like you are like a part of this Shashwat BFSI Tech Gnan Mandir. Okay, and we are looking towards you as a guest lecturer because you are representing this young generation, and our students are also like from undergraduate, graduate students, and professionals. So Priya, my like a last question. So how you are looking towards this Shashwat BFSI Tech Gnan Mandir?
Yeah. Actually, this Shashwat Gnan Mandir is a great initiative which makes students to familiar with the corporate activities. Here, students are really getting opportunity to easily know what they are going to do once they enter into the IT world by hearing the experienced person's words like you. Yeah, it really encourages passion in young minds. I would like, I mean, I can wish your service should continue and it will rock in short time. All the very best.
Thanks, Priya. Thanks for your valuable time and explaining software testing like SDLC, STLC, mobile testing, web testing. Okay, these concepts in detailed manner. So once again, thanks, Priya. Have a good day.
Thank you.